Well, folks, this is the best show on Blog Talk and the best show on the internet. Shut up! Nobody, and I mean nobody, tackles issues like inflammatory talk. Shut up! And Mr. Midnight Movie, shut up! And Jewish producer.
Hello, son.
Shut up! We tackle the things that nobody tackles.
Hello, son.
The man answers.
Hello, son.
Stop walking on eggshells. Shut up!
Hello, son.
Goofy Mom can get off his bloviated fat enchilada ass and start talking about La Raza.
Hello, son.
Jocking it, Pink Daddy Joe P. Jocking it, Pink Daddy Joe P. Whipping the skipping all day long.
We're making a movie about white guilt. We're going to examine all these facts. Shut up! The civil rights movement today basically protects criminals.
Okay, stop interrupting me.
We're making a movie about white guilt.
Okay, stop interrupting me.
Shut up! We're making a movie about white guilt.
Done in a beautiful fashion. The documentary, at the same time, both prose and poetry.
It's not the noble movement that it was.
I'm above you on all these issues. I've been to the military. I have served in the capacity to protect your rights to bloviate. To protect your rights to bloviate.
Who are you to tell me what my style is, you meth addict?
I've been to the military.
How do you know I'm a meth addict?
I'm above you on all these issues.
How do you know I'm a meth addict?
You haven't served in the military. In fact, you wouldn't be fit for the military.
I'm a racist, and I don't consider myself an especially evil person.
What's this got to do with the price of rice in China?
Well, I'm just telling you, I'm a better man than you are.
You're a narcissist. We've established that.
Okay, stop interrupting me. You could not defend the very rights you enjoy. You are the ultimate invalid.
I put stock in you. I'm wondering why Mr. Solutions isn't on every daily show.
What's this got to do with the price of rice in China?
Money. I'm into aviation. Money.
Power.
Money.
Power.
Man boob.
Shut up.
I see why Sick the Tank Daddy kicked his ass and kicked him out of the house early on.
Man boob.
Shut up.
I'm going to talk over you as loud as I can. I've got my speaker full blast.
To blow you away.
Shut up.
Mr. Midnight Movie.
My name is Delano. I have killed this Midnight Movie. I stand there, son of a bitch.
This is
Money.
Power.
Money.
Power.
tired.
Money.
Power.
Money.
All right.
Yes. We are on. We are on right now. With
Can you hear me? Am I coming in?
Yes, I can. I can hear you
All right.
loud and clear, JP.
All right.
Yes.
Feels good.
Feels good. Not bad at all. And yes, we do have some people in the house. Please smash that like button and maybe even tweet this puppy. It's good for you. It'll make you feel good.
That seems to be like the key word now. Smash that like button. Smash it.
Smash it. And also listen to us. Follow us on YouTube as well.
Don't be afraid to sell your shit, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
We are
Come
on
then.
Inflammatory Talk YouTube as well. We have our Twitter page. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, all of that stuff. We are fighting for the First Amendment. Free speech, people. Free speech. Which our freedoms have been taken away. Now, what's going on here? What happened?
Yeah, let's get off to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're on Discord. It wasn't sounding as good.
No, you're probably right on that. So yeah. Now the president, and I didn't hear it, and I should have, but the president did his State of the Union address today.
I heard it.
Oh, how was it?
You know what? He ended it strong with his border talk. I listened to the last five minutes of it, and I thought he did. For a touchy subject matter, he handled it as well as he could.
Yeah.
Basically said that people say that building a border is done is a hateful act, and people with beautiful homes build fences around their home, not because they hate everyone on the outside, but because they love everybody on the inside. Mm-hmm. And I thought that, it's platitudes.
Yeah.
It's platitudes. He did well, though.
Yeah.
I bet. I'm curious to see what the consensus is out there, if people are hating that or loving what Trump said tonight.
Yes, I'm writing to someone asking them why don't they leave America.
That's always a nice thing to ask people. Just leave.
Yeah.
You are listening to Inflammatory Talk. What's the name of this show tonight?
Why don't now? Are you? Can you get on the page and read the title of the show? I would love for you to do that. Hold on. Let me. We'll share the screen together. But yes. Yes. You want to go to the show page and then also. You don't want to do that?
I do, but I'm seeing some horrendous spelling already.
Oh, really? Fuck it. Really?
That's okay.
Well, when you get your computer, you'll be able to do all the shows and do all the spelling. Really? Is it really that bad?
All right, so it's all my rights have been violated.
Hold on, let me edit. I'm going to edit that right now. Fuck all this shit. Hold on.
You wronged me. You must know once to be punished. I know it's hard, but you've hurt me, and it's only fair that you be inflicted with pain.
Jeez, I'm worse than those Brazilian porn writers. God damn it. I hurt. All right.
I'd like to know what you're trying to say there.
Hold on. Fucking A.
Oh. And I've been violated.
You've wronged me, and now you must... Oh, wait. Here we go. Now you must pay. No one wants to be punished. I know it's hard, but you've hurt me, and it's only fair that you be inflicted with pain. All right, now I've redone it. Thank God.
Well, you didn't fix the title.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Let's see here. Oh, yes. There we go. You wronged me, and now you must pay. No one wants to be punished. I know it's hard, but you've hurt me, and it's only fair that you be inflicted with pain.
I think very true statement.
Yes.
And that's true. Words do hurt me. Oh, shit. It's just that, you know what? I was never a good speller. And now that I think it's my diabetes, it hurts me even more. Let me just redo this. I'm reposting this shit. Folks, repost this one.
You're in pain.
I'm in pain. Oh, fuck. Try to text me.
Under the weather. I'm very nasally today.
Yes. And we have been wrong, by the way. Let's just be honest here. We've been very wronged by Best Buy, if we want to say really. Would you agree that they've wronged us?
I think so. We tried to get a computer today, and Mr. Midnight Movie got cheated out of some software. But I'm going to fix this.
Yes, I hope so.
Wait, scroll back up for a quick second. Let me see that picture real quick. Oh, no, okay, never mind. you've got to go through. You got to get on Twitter.
Yeah.
And you got to do some searching for some people who are making comments that are like yours.
Yes.
If I have some time, I'll do it. Ooh, I'm not feeling good tonight. We're gonna make it short because we don't feel good.
No.
I'm mad.
And you know what? Let's take a look here. So Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer responded. Let's see what they have to say. This will be a commercial first, I guarantee.
I feel like learning Python should be an adventure.
To speak directly to the American people tonight about how we can end this shutdown and meet the needs of the American people. Sadly, much of what we heard from President Trump throughout this senseless shutdown has been full of misinformation and even malice. The president has chosen fear. We want to start with the facts. The fact is, on the very first day of this Congress, House Democrats passed Senate Republican legislation to reopen government and fund smart, effective border security solutions. But the president is rejecting these bipartisan bills which would reopen government over his obsession with forcing American taxpayers to waste billions of dollars on an expensive and ineffective wall, a wall he always promised Mexico would pay for. The fact is, President Trump has chosen to hold hostage critical services for the health, safety, and well-being of the American people and withhold the paychecks of 800,000 innocent workers across the nation, many of them veterans. He promised to keep government shut down for months or years, no matter whom it hurts. That's just plain wrong. The fact is, we all agree we need to secure our borders while honoring our values. We can build the infrastructure and roads at our ports of entry. We can install new technology to scan cars and trucks for drugs coming into our nation. We can hire the personnel we need to facilitate trade and immigration at the border. We can fund more innovation to detect unauthorized crossings. The fact is, the women and children at the border are not a security threat. They are a humanitarian challenge, a challenge that President Trump's own cruel and counterproductive policies have only deepened. And the fact is, President Trump must stop holding the American people hostage, must stop manufacturing a crisis, and must reopen the government. Thank you. Leader Schumer?
Thank you, Speaker Pelosi. My fellow Americans, we address you tonight for one reason only. The President of the United States, having failed to get Mexico to pay for his ineffective, unnecessary border wall, and unable to convince the Congress or the American people to foot the bill, has shut down the government. American democracy doesn't work that way. We don't govern by temper tantrum. No president should pound the table and demand he gets his way, or else the government shuts down, hurting millions of Americans who are treated as leverage. Tonight, and throughout this debate and throughout his presidency, President Trump has appealed to fear, not facts, division, not unity. Make no mistake, Democrats and the president both want stronger border security. However, we sharply disagree with the president about the most effective way to do it. So, how do we untangle this mess? Well, there's an obvious solution. Separate the shutdown from arguments over border security. There is bipartisan legislation supported by Democrats and Republicans to reopen government while allowing debate over border security to continue. There is no excuse for hurting millions of Americans over a policy difference. Federal workers are about to miss a paycheck. Some families can't get a mortgage to buy a new home. Farmers and small businesses won't get loans they desperately need. Most presidents have used Oval Office addresses for noble purposes. This president just used the backdrop of the Oval Office to manufacture a crisis, stoke fear, and divert attention from the turmoil in his administration. My fellow Americans, there is no challenge so great that our nation cannot rise to meet it. We can reopen the government and continue to work through disagreements over policy. We can secure our border without an ineffective, expensive wall. And we can welcome legal immigrants and refugees without compromising safety and security. The symbol of America should be the Statue of Liberty, not a 30-foot wall. So our suggestion is a simple one. Mr. President, reopen the government and we can work to resolve our differences over border security, but end this shutdown now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Isn't that quaint?
Yes. And let's see here. Listen. Now I'm looking at the responses to this. Good fences make good neighbors. It's the old cliche for a reason. We have fences and lock our doors at night when we go to sleep. And basically. And I think everyone thinks this. And how about your neighbor's kid is a naughty and keeps crossing your fence and play in your yard, step on the grass, pick your fruit, play with your pets while you're at work. You talk to your neighbor, but your kid is super naughty and keep doing it, and your neighbor can't discipline them properly. And let's see here. Nad says, a country with millions of jobs. Okay, yeah, I mean, most people are agreeing with the wall, even on CNN. I don't know anybody. Oh, and someone said, from these idiotic comments, I really can see the Trump supporters are very intellectual people. From hate speech to straight up insults, great supporters and great American people in general. Smart folks like these say this when M13 comes from you. You voted for Hillary and you think you're smart. You know, I think the country's, this is the most divided I've ever seen this country. Now, is Angela there?
Yeah, let's see, I saw her call.
Yeah, she did call, and then I called her back, but she hasn't picked up. So, yeah. The only thing is I can't, if I pick her up, I'll have to drop JP. So, yeah.
Let's see, I tried to add her. Let's see if she answers.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's a phenomenal speech by Speaker of the House, Pelosi.
Ugh.
But on the 11th of January, 2019, do you know what's going to happen?
No.
Well, that wonderful movie about Supreme Court Justice Ginsburg is coming out. Are you guys going to see it? I want to know.
No.
Probably not. No. I think that's a lot of over-dramatized crap, by the way.
Well, considering she's in such poor health, God forbid that something should happen to her, wouldn't it be a good show if you've seen that documentary/film?
No.
I mean, yeah, you know what? I mean,
it's a good thought, to go see that movie. And why did you not see Deadpool 2?
You know what? I haven't been to the movies in a while, to be honest with you.
Well, I think it might be on Netflix, the Deadpool 2. I mean, we saw that 4 times in a row, my kid and I. It was so good. Kind of reminded me of Spreaker, but in a good way. It was hilarious. So just so funny, just so good.
Yeah. And so you know what I mean? Trump 2020 hands down. Schumer and Pelosi disgust me. Now, did you? By the way, Angela, did you listen to Trump's speech?
No, I couldn't stomach that.
Really? Well, it's a good thing that
all I knew, he was probably pound his hand on the desk saying that's an emergency, that we need this wall. You know, all the immigrants are, what do you call them? Because they're not really immigrants. They're people that cross over illegally.
Well,
the numbers have never been so low since the 1970s. Where's the emergency?
They're illegal aliens. And you know what? When we had the caravan, the one thing a wall would be a barrier for them.
But the numbers have dropped down to the 1970s level. I think they've done pretty well with what they have.
I think a wall. You know what? Why don't there should be a debate about whether we need the wall or not. In the meantime, neither one is going to back down off of this. I think Trump's going to do it by. I guess he's going to do it by executive order.
He can't, though. That's illegal.
Who says?
You know, when he wants to use, if you want to use the national or the army, you know, all that, it's illegal to do it in the way he has done. Now, I'm not a legal expert, but the ones I've listened to, that's the fodder. Maybe you could find someone that knows more about that stuff to have them on. You know, I noticed Howard called me the other day. Have you heard from him?
No, I haven't.
Well, he had called me on Skype, so I don't, and I didn't, I guess I didn't hear it or probably didn't have the volume on. I hope he's doing all right.
How long was the speech, by the way?
On Trump, I believe it was 11 minutes, but I may be wrong. Because I was thinking about listening to it, but it was over before I got to him.
Let's listen to this crap for a little bit.
Okay.
My fellow Americans, tonight I am speaking to you because there is a growing humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border. Every day, Customs and Border Patrol agents encounter thousands of illegal immigrants trying to enter our country. We are out of space to hold them, and we have no way to promptly return them back home to their country. America proudly welcomes millions of lawful immigrants who enrich our society and contribute to our nation. But all Americans are hurt by uncontrolled illegal migration. It strains public resources and drives down jobs and wages. Among those hardest hit are African Americans and Hispanic Americans. Our southern border is a pipeline for vast quantities of illegal drugs, including meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. Every week, 300 of our citizens are killed by heroin alone, 90% of which floods across from our southern border. More Americans will die from drugs this year than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. In the last 2 years, ICE officers made 266,000 arrests of aliens with criminal records, including those charged or convicted of 100,000 assaults, 30,000 sex crimes, and 4,000 violent killings. Over the years, thousands of Americans have been brutally killed by those who illegally entered our country, and thousands more lives will be lost if we don't act right now. This is a humanitarian crisis, a crisis of the heart and a crisis of the soul. Last month, 20,000 migrant children were illegally brought into the United States, a dramatic increase. These children are used as human pawns by vicious coyotes and ruthless gangs. 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted on the dangerous trek up through Mexico. Women and children are the biggest victims, by far, of our broken system. This is the tragic reality of illegal immigration on our southern border. This is the cycle of human suffering that I am determined to end. My administration has presented Congress with a detailed proposal to secure the border and stop the criminal gangs, drug smugglers, and human traffickers. It's a tremendous problem. Our proposal was developed by law enforcement professionals and border agents at the Department of Homeland Security. These are the resources they have requested to properly perform their mission and keep America safe. In fact, safer than ever before. The proposal from Homeland Security includes cutting-edge technology for detecting drugs, weapons, illegal contraband, and many other things. We have requested more agents, immigration judges, and bed space to process the sharp rise in unlawful migration fueled by our very strong economy. Our plan also contains an urgent request for humanitarian assistance and medical support. Furthermore, we have asked Congress to close border security loopholes so that illegal immigrant children can be safely and humanely returned back home. Finally, as part of an overall approach to border security, law enforcement professionals have requested $5.7 billion for a physical barrier. At the request of Democrats, it will be a steel barrier rather than a concrete wall. This barrier is absolutely critical to border security. It's also what our professionals at the border want and need. This is just common sense. The border wall would very quickly pay for itself. The cost of illegal drugs exceeds $500 billion a year, vastly more than the $5.7 billion we have requested from Congress. The wall will also be paid for indirectly by the great new trade deal we have made with Mexico. Senator Chuck Schumer, who you will be hearing from later tonight, has repeatedly supported a physical barrier in the past, along with many other Democrats. They changed their mind only after I was elected president. Democrats in Congress have refused to acknowledge the crisis, and they have refused to provide our brave border agents with the tools they desperately need to protect our families and
This is a strong speech all
the federal
around.
government remains shut down
Yeah.
for one reason, and one reason only, because Democrats will not fund border security. My administration is doing everything in our power to help those impacted by the situation.
My ears.
But the only solution...
All right, now we're going to hear Ted Lieu. See if he has anything to add.
Get some really good things done for the country, but not in the context of a. We cannot allow the president to leverage harming the American people to get his way, because we do that, he's going to do this again and again.
Yes, I think for Trump it was a strong speech. Overall, I'm not supporting what he's saying, but I think he did a strong he made a strong case for himself. You are the most out-of-touch Spreaker host. Look, I'm not a Trump supporter by any means, but you can't deny that was a weak. You can't deny that he did a good job at his own verbiage. Am I for a wall? You know what? If I were to look into my history and consider what I've always thought, I'd probably say no, I'm not for a wall. But I see that the overall in America, the tide is changing. You're seeing a lot of support for this wall, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. And it has been. It was terrible and full of lies. Well, just go ahead and
Full lies?
Yeah, point out the lies. I want to know what they are. You don't have to
Well, one thing, that was not his speech. He didn't use the word bigly anywhere.
Yes.
He doesn't. There's no doubt he doesn't write these, but
obviously.
Yeah, obviously. We know what we're dealing with here. Come on, it's Donald Trump.
Well, is there anyone in your chat room that lives in Texas or kind of sort of close to the border? Be interesting what they would have to say.
Build that wall. Build that wall. Yeah. Less than 25%. Show me the numbers. I don't think that's true at all. Do you think it's 25%, either of you?
25% what?
She says, Maryland says less than 25% support this wall.
Is Maryland Swedish, by the way? Well,
I think Maryland's a man.
I asked
Swedish.
I think a lot of people are not for it.
Is the only person here that's had sex with Maryland.
Have you seen what's happened in Sweden? I'm sorry to throw it off. But, there's 55 districts that the police will not go into. It's like Sharia law in 55 districts. Maybe it might be a good idea to look at what's happening in Europe, because that could be coming here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right on that. But...
And with the illegal immigration, 74% of the legal immigrants are people that overstay their visas. Why are they overstaying their visas? And why can't Homeland Security go after those people? A lot of times they get to stay here for decades before they're caught.
Yes. So I wonder what... Because I'm looking on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all these things, all of them support the wall. I
think everybody supports border security. I just think to do it the most smart way. Now, I don't know which way is the most smart way, but I think building a concrete or steel wall is not the brightest idea. They build tunnels underneath there. I mean, what are some other ways they can protect us?
Do they?
Or maybe just shoot the people.
Movie? Are you listening? Are you there, Mr. Midnight Movie?
I am listening.
Okay. Are you looking at porn or are you listening?
I am listening. I was actually looking at Twitter just to get a gauge on who supports the border wall, and I think most Americans. I disagree. It's a much larger number to who supports.
It's not less than 25%. It's way more.
Yeah.
It's way more.
Well, is Debbie or Todd in the chat room? Invite them on, because they're in Texas, are they not? I think both have confessed to being in Texas.
Todd Morris would want nothing more than to talk with Debbie daily.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are they in the chat room?
They're in there chatting. They're having fun together. They're playing Romper Room.
Okay.
Mr. Midnight Movie, are you finding anything about the wall?
I'm looking right now.
But I think it would be a good thing for them to call in on Skype, would you say?
Skype works.
Yes.
Yeah, just to talk about the border, because I think they might know a lot more than I or someone else that does not live close to the border or in Texas.
Well, I live in California, and that's pretty close to the border, and I've been to Tijuana.
Well, I think the entryway is through Texas, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you can correct me.
I've heard a big entryway is through Arizona, which is Curtis's state.
That's true. I forgot that.
Yes. Build the wall and toss her ass over. Debbie is a border jumper.
That's Todd Morris coming to you live.
Yes.
What is he saying? Build a wall and what?
Build the wall and toss her ass over.
Who's her? Surely he doesn't mean me.
Could be whoever you want.
No, he was talking about Debbie. Debbie is a border jumper. Build a wall and throw her ass over.
How rude.
Tonight's guest is Bathtub Girl. Angela, how was your day?
Well, I've been trying to kill spiders, and we've had a fox wanting to come inside. That's been interesting, a red fox.
Foxes are awesome.
Yes.
Not when they try to get inside your home. No, they're not awesome. Not even having it. No. Ask me how I really feel.
Get with the rabies. Come on.
But life is good. It's going to be a great year.
Where are you?
Here's the responsibility. I'm in Arkansas this night. So I've been going from Oklahoma to Kansas to Missouri to Arkansas.
Excuse me, I'm so ignorant to this. Why are you going back and forth? Why haven't you settled down into like a home or whatever? What's your situation?
Well, unfortunately, I still have that other horrible home. It's been a nightmare. I even tried to give it away, and I had to find some way to just get rid of it. I don't want it. It's on Grand Lake, and it's a pretty view, though. Oh, my goodness.
Is the house a dump?
Gorgeous. Yes. Yes. Okay. My brother did not take care of his property. That's a definite yes.
So how much would it cost to fix up in your estimates, or have you gotten an estimate of it?
Well, I already fixed up the roof so it would stop leaking, and I had the carpet pulled out, and that didn't get done because
was that all
the workers left.
Is there mold in the house?
There's an add-on closet that had a leak. I just had to replace the plywood on the floor there. It's an add-on. It's not was not part of the home originally, but they didn't have a lot of closet space, so I want it off my hands. So, and then I also had to go see my mother, who's had a difficult time, and I don't know. It's just life is crazy, and
so you have to travel to go see your mom and go back to take care of the house. So you're back and forth. Okay.
Yeah, between 3 homes. And then Tulsa also.
Oh, yeah. Who could forget Tulsa?
They think I can document things. They keep on telling them I'm rarely in Tulsa. And I just got another request tonight, something about the Greenwood Chamber of Commerce and the Black Wall Street people. They're feuding again. And, I'm not making any money off of their feud. So I'm like, no.
It's a strange time. I'm not sure where I'll find myself at the end of this year because I am to get an RV, and once I do, I might be saying hello to the road, and then I might be jamming around over the country. I hope I could do that, but right
that
now
would be amazing.
It's a little bit of a dream. We're not sure yet if it's going to happen, but if everything goes as planned, a lot of things need to happen before that does take place. But if it does happen, I think that would be a really great chance to get away from California.
What state would you most look forward to visiting?
I haven't been to. I've only not been to about 4 or 5 states. Virginia's, Dakotas. So there's that area would be nice. In Maryland, I'd like to go see that area.
By the way, there's someone by the name of Let Me Taste It, and I just want to see who this person is. She says the new post, the border wall is Trump's Alamo, and it won't end well. Let's take a look at Let Me Taste It.
Oh, she's precise there, yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's take a look at some of these pictures. Is she Latino or is she Blackie? Let me see. Oh, oh my God, she's a
post. Oh wow.
Oh my Lord. That's a cute outfit, though.
Whoa.
Oh, my heavens.
What would you do if she started delivering your mail?
I'd have it home delivered. God, but these, all right, Anyway, so I think, and it's hard to say because about what Americans, because most Americans, I think, want there to be some, they want this thing to end. But I think most Americans, if they were, would be in favor of the wall. I think that people believe in that. I know that people overstay their visas. That's an issue too.
76%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, and that is a large portion
Yes.
Of the thing. I think we need to have a fight over. We need to have a fight over birthright citizenship. I think birthright citizenship should come to an end. That makes no sense to me. Does anyone have a comment on birthright citizenship?
I think that should be completely abolished.
Yeah.
Isn't it a constitutional issue that if you're born here, you become a citizen?
Well, you're rewarding someone for criminal behavior. If both parents are illegal, are not supposed to be in the country, and they could have, be Chinese communists, and they want all their children to be born here so they can vote to take over. I'm against that completely. No.
But there's a lot of Japanese that do that. They come over here, they're pregnant, they wait in a home to have the baby, they lie about the gestation. It's a tourism thing to allow your child to become an American citizen while you're on vacation.
Yeah, and they'll vote against us. So I'm again. I don't know why we don't fight. I mean, why that's not a bigger issue. Why and I think we have to end. The one thing we have to end is birthright citizenship, voter ID laws, and no voting for felons. And
whoa! If they served their time, why can't they vote?
Some felonies, like if it's murder, never. If you're a murderer, if you haven't paid,
are they going to be punished for the rest of their life?
If they have not paid restitution, no.
Paid restitution. Usually they get jailed. There's not restitution unless they go to a different type of court where they sue for monies.
If they cannot pay restitution, then they can never vote. If they've stolen something and they've never paid restitution, even if they've done their time and they have never paid restitution, they should never vote. Ever. No.
Well, I can tell you what it's like in Oklahoma. And this issue is different in every state, I might add. You might want to check for California. If they are what they're called paperless, where they don't have to see a probation officer, if they had any restitution that it's fully paid, then they can vote again. But unless those two things are fulfilled, if they have to serve all their time or be paperless, like no longer on probation, and paid all the restitution or fines or what have you, that makes them paperless, they can vote. I don't think a person should be punished for the rest of their life if they've done their time and made their restitutions, as you call it. They have different names in their case. And who stands to be better off if the felons are not allowed to vote? The Republicans. That's who.
Well, I mean, because we don't support criminals.
Well, these criminals are humans. You seem to be forgetting that. And if they paid their time and paid their restitutions, and they're trying to live a life like any other citizen, why can't they vote? Why are they considered not human?
Well, they're because they've inflicted pain on people, and they have not rectified what they've done.
Well, they can never fix it completely. But if they fulfill the requirements as set before our courts, I don't see why they shouldn't be able to vote. And this issue varies from state to state.
Voting, in my opinion, to an extent, it is a right, but it's a right that can be taken away. And there are certain Americans. I mean, I almost want to certain types of felons, even in some cases, revoke their citizenship and expel I wonder if anyone's ever.
Where would they go? Where would they go if all they've known is the states?
That's a question. You know what? That's a question for another time. I'm thinking about that. But revoking people's citizenship and expelling them from America, particularly for hate crimes.
What does boring guy Stefan Molyneux say about this?
I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know, but treason you can get deported for. So Mr. Trump may be expelled out of our country if that happens. And I can't wait.
Has anyone ever been expelled from America?
Charlie Chaplin. There's a lot of them that have been deported.
But no,
sometimes for overstaying their visas.
No. But has a citizen ever had his citizenship revoked and then been expelled?
I think it has happened, but I'm sorry, I can't remember the names. But I remember reading about it because I thought it was shocking.
Yeah, we looked it up once. There's definitely been people.
Yeah.
I think it had to do with treason. Do you remember reading that?
Oh, yeah. Treason was definitely a reason.
Now, are you, by the way, the Women's March, and I know Debbie will be there in Texas, but will you be at the...
well, I'm torn. I was an organizer last year in Tulsa of the Women's March there. Mm-hmm. We had probably 12 to 14 organizers for this march. Those marches are very complicated. Mm-hmm. You had to pay for security and get a permit. But I think I'll be going to the one in Fayetteville, Arkansas, because I haven't gone to that one, and I really haven't had time to be an organizer. And I didn't be an organizer. It's a lot more work than people think.
Now, now there's been a lot of problems with the identity politics, and I think I'm going to be there.
Are the Nazis?
No, I'm talking about with people like Linda Sarsour. Some of these marches.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is it a religion also? Because, I'm very close, within driving distance of Harrison, Arkansas, where they have the Klan and they have, the separatism, the identity or whatever. But they call that a church. And it sounds very much what you're talking about. Is it a religion or is it a political movement?
The Nation of Islam, it's a religion, but it's based on a lot of it's. It's not authentic Islam. And it's based on it's based on rebellion. A lot of it has its. The Nation of Islam has its core, has a lot of its customs come from the Freemasons. And
what's wrong with the Freemasons?
Nothing's
what? Sorry, I didn't mean to yell.
Yeah,
I'm from a Mason family. There's nothing wrong with the Masons.
Well, no, there is nothing. Yeah, well, I find there's nothing wrong with the Freemasons. JP may seem something different.
We'll have the whole show just to go into these topics because I would like to have a nice conversation with that. But yeah, certainly there are many reasons to question. One of the things the Masons are sponsoring, by the way, are children identification. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Children identification. You're going to give me a little bit more info than that.
We'll get into it next time. We'll do a whole show on that.
I have a member of the Washington, D.C. Masons. He's from what do you call it? Type of family. Like an early settler type of family. It has a certain name in the Masons. But he's full of information. He is smart. He's so smart.
Well, that could be an interesting person if you can get him to contact us. We would definitely like to talk to him.
But he won't tell certain things, though, and that's frustrating.
There's a whole lot to get into without getting into the real secret stuff, if there is such a thing. But
let me ask you: Angela, do you know any members of Antifa?
Yes, in the Tulsa chapter, they are more highly educated than some of the other chapters through different states. A lot of them have at least a bachelor's. Most of them have a master's.
Do they believe in violence to suppress free speech?
They believe in order to have a revolution, that it starts in violence. And a lot of activists believe that.
Do you believe that?
Yes, because it's true. Think of all the revolutions in history. It started in violence.
Do you
Didn't mean that the whole revolution was violent, but it starts that way.
Do you believe in freedom of speech?
That term gets thrown around so much. I don't think people really understand what freedom of speech is. And when I hear someone else say that, does it mean that their speech is okay, but someone else can't criticize them?
No.
Where are the boundaries on it?
I want as limited boundaries as possible. You have the right not to be inflamed. I mean, I'm thinking about going to the Women's March because it's filled with identity politics.
I think it would be great for you to go.
Yeah. But the fact is, I may be attacked because I may have a thing there saying take a knee for white farmers in South Africa. Do you believe that?
Oh, jeez.
Let me ask you a question. Let's talk. What do you think? I'd be removed. Why would I be removed?
Because they would consider that inflammatory. Even though you were inflammatory, they would think it's so inflammatory that it may cause a problem, and they want to have a peaceful march. And this is true of a lot of different marches, like say the Pride Day.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want a lot of hateful preachers walking through the aisles saying, you're going to hell.
Okay.
But I think you could have a really good discourse with them and a lively discourse with a lot of them if you don't bring a sign that says that.
Now, what do you think of the situation in South Africa?
I'm more concerned with Sweden. I'm more concerned with England.
Yeah, well, England,
because there seems to be an uprising, and I come from my parents, my family came from England, and it's not what it used to be. Sweden is not what it used to be. I mean, look at Paris; it's fallen. Paris has fallen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more concerned about the students that come over to America because they're young and they're independent and I guess I shouldn't say independent. Some of them have been brainwashed, and I worry about that because young people are very impressionable. South Africa has been in a bind for a good 20 years. I think it's been number one in the world for rape for I don't know how long. Maybe Mr. Midnight Movie.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, I read quite a bit about it. And don't you think that the Senate should hold hearings just as they held hearings in the 80s and the 90s on South Africa?
I think they have bigger fish to fry.
Well,
the only thing I like about Trump is for him to bring the troops home. I think it weakens us to be everywhere and doing everything. That's how the fall of the Roman Empire happened. Overextended.
Do you think we should give refugee status to white South Africans?
If their life is in danger and they fulfill the requirement needed, as in there's someone here to sponsor them 100%, and you have to be able to pay all the person's bills that come over.
We didn't make those.
If they fulfill the requirements, then yes.
But okay, did we make those? What requirements did Somali immigrants have? Did they all have to be sponsored?
I think they were sponsored by corporations that did come over. The ones that did come over.
I thought the UN. I thought the UN sponsored them. A large portion.
It may be that they were the sponsor, but there had to be a sponsor.
But
they could not just come in.
Our taxes, our tax dollars pay. We basically fund the UN, by the way, with our tax dollars, and I think that there should be, we should make allowances for white South Africans, not just white South African farmers, but all South Africans, because I think that they are subjugated there and they are mistreated. I think that South Africa is a racial vendetta nation. And actually, what I was going to have on my thing, I was going to put a sign that said South Africa is a racial vendetta nation in the Women's March. How well do you think that would go over?
I think they would not relate it to their issues. That honestly, most of them that would come there would not relate it to their issues.
Well,
I think saying the South African farmer should go to Belgium, that's where they came from.
I think that maybe we can, because I think South Africa would be a good country for black racists who don't like whites. I think it would be a good country for them because it is South Africa is a racial vendetta nation, and it might be
But not all of them came from there, and there's plenty of violence in other countries too that are in Africa.
You know what the thing of it is? The thing of it is they look like them in a lot of. I would say the majority of blacks support the regime. They support the land grabs in South Africa, and they support the subjugation of whites. So, and those that do should put their money where their mouth is and go repatriate to there.
Well, it is true that there is a land grab because that was unincorporated, that area of Africa that we know as South Africa today. It was unincorporated. There was a land grab in the beginning. Now there's another land grab because the government has changed there. And they're not based on equal law. They're based on social justice. I mean, their whole paradigm is different from us. And Nigeria is more like us. And there's other different countries they could go to. Why not find out where they're from and see if they want to go back there? But that would be on their dime, not us. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln.
He's being called out as a racist in the chat room.
You know what? And you won't.
Well, I'll protect you on that. You're talking about ideas, or
and I speak disinformation. Okay, what information do you have, Debbie? Go ahead and speak it.
Where's the disinformation?
I can't believe you're blaming her. I mean, she just has an opinion. Where's your previous here?
I agree that sometimes Mr. Midnight Movie is misguided, but he would say the same about me, and that's okay. Yeah. I don't think all the time. Sometimes he is, but that's all right.
All right, Stabby, how am I yelling?
And the last thing I would ever do is call him a racist.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, that's a stigmatization. How am I uninformed?
I don't know. I mean,
well, no, I'm asking. I'm asking both.
Okay.
Stabby.
I will say that you're talking about ideas. You're not talking about hurting anyone. Absolutely. You're talking about people that might want to be with like-minded people. Is that what I'm hearing, Mr. Midnight Movie?
Hardest things to do is to come up with solutions. Mr. Midnight Movie is coming up with ideas to talk about, and I'm trying to come up with answers, not to create problems in the world.
Well, he's like Abraham Lincoln, President Lincoln. His idea after the Civil War was to send them back. And that did happen. And the country called Liberia was founded by free slaves from America. So it has been done before, Mr. Midnight Movie, and maybe you didn't know that, but it's an idea you were talking about.
Yes. Well, you know what? I'm only saying that the issue should be debated in Congress. What's going on there? Because our country was very crucial in getting the regime change the way it was, and so we're kind of responsible for what's going on there. And you know what? All right, you won't. Okay, MM. What has been done to the African government about this subject? Nothing. I mean,
which African?
Yeah, she's talking about the South African government.
Okay. What has been done about their government?
You know
Is that what she's asking?
I'm saying that we should. Okay, here's the thing. I'm saying that we should divest. And I mean, we should do the same thing. Okay. You know what, Debbie? You're just doing this because you don't like me anymore. That's just the way it is.
No, she adores you. She does.
She doesn't.
I think she's just hurt. I think she's hurt, and she's wanting to have discussion with you. And this is her way of doing it.
This is a Debbie Daly vendetta.
She could have the border issue. I think she would probably know more about that than you or I because she's closer to it.
Debbie is.
She has a lot to say, and she's being demonized.
Well, no, she's not being demonized. She's now
by the Spreaker culture. She is.
Okay, Debbie is being demonized. I have a baby in Mexico. Would that child be a Mexican citizen?
You can have dual citizenship.
They're called a question, MM. Okay, okay. You know what? Your questions are actually statements in disguise, and you made some statements, Debbie. And this is Debbie Vendetta.
Be nice.
No, this is Debbie Vendetta.
And that's a valid question. That's a valid question. If you have an American parent, but yet you're born in Mexico,
okay,
you
that's
have
Flo,
dual
not
citizenship.
Debbie. Yeah, I mean, if I have a baby in Mexico, would that child be a Mexican citizen? I don't know if. Honestly, I don't know if Mexico has birthright citizenship. And okay, I'm against birthright citizenship. By the way, I think it's not a good thing.
Well, your family did not originally come from the States. How does that make you a citizen?
What do you mean? Well, no, I mean my parents.
Because your parents, your grandparents, your great-great-parents were illegal citizens.
No, they were
by your thoughts.
They were settlers. They settled the country.
They came over here. Did they need permission to come over here? No, they didn't.
Who?
They came over here anyway.
Who did they need permission from?
They needed permission from someone because either it's legal or illegal.
No, it's called the conquest ethic. Everybody did it. If you're talking about...
so it's okay then. It's okay then. Well, there's holes in your theory.
Yes, no. That's not a hole in my theory. If, you know what?
Well, I think...
If you can take it, if you can't defend it, it doesn't belong to you.
But they were kind to the people that came over because they didn't know the bloodthirsty colonists.
All right.
They were imperialists.
Hold on a second. Now I'm going to play. All right, that's it. All right, I'm going to play my favorite Native American, David Eagerly. Let me see if I can.
Interesting commentary, though.
Yeah, David Eagerly. All right, here we go. This is Lessons on Immigration.
All right,
here we go. He passed away recently, but this is David Eagerly, and this is Lessons on Immigration from an American Indian. Here we go.
An American.
What is your thought? Okay, go ahead.
From an American Indian point of view, I can't say that immigration is a good thing. It might change your whole environment. It might threaten the existence of your people. But in the case of an invasive immigration, when it's forced, that's one kind of circumstance. When it's constitutional, or when it's understood that by all nations that their doors are supposed to be open to all people at all times, That's a different situation. And I don't know of a single constitution of any country in this world that says it is obligated, that country is obligated to receive anybody from anywhere at any time for any reason. I know of no such country. And yet this is what's happening in every country. A person born into this world feels that he has a right to live anywhere he wants. I don't know where this idea came from. It never existed before. But it is the dominant quasi-moral code of the world right now. And of course, everybody wants to come to the West because the West has a better life. I mean, that's obvious. But in the case of, back to the American Indian, the lesson is, don't let it happen. If there's any lesson from the American Indian story, don't let immigration happen. You'll be sorry.
There you go. What do you think of that? Angela? Are you still there? Huh?
I had to unmute myself, sorry.
All right, what do you think of that?
Well, it's an opinion. It's an opinion. There's a reason why a lot of Native Americans do not like Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, but here's
they made a mistake. They should have just shot all those settlers and sent the boat back and the corpses on it.
Here's the deal. They tried. And David Eagerly said, the Comanche was for the Comanche. And when it fought other Native Americans, it killed every, there was no, we're going to put you on a reservation or anything like that. There was no treaties. It was kill everybody. Kill them all.
Well, that was Jackson's
motive. That was
he wanted to kill all of them.
That was the Comanche.
True.
That was
what portrait is in President Trump's Oval Office? It's Andrew Jackson. And that's a message. That is an obvious message to anyone that's a minority.
Well, Andrew Jackson believed if you are a nation within a nation, you are a threat. And you need to remove that threat, right or wrong. And Britain was still, we were not as strong as we are now. So it was like, hey man, you're having a nation. I mean, they could be very fickle and side with, like, if there was another war with the British or any other nation, we didn't want somebody else siding against us. So we were, the United States at that time removed that threat. Right or wrong, they did that.
Removed?
Yeah. I didn't say it was nice. But they
it was more of a massacre. It really wasn't a march. They killed so many. I have no words on that.
Yes. Well, I mean, look, right or wrong, and there's a lot of evidence that the Cherokee were a violent tribe. There were other
oh my gosh, you did not go there.
Yeah. By the way.
Go ahead.
By the way, all the so-called civilized tribes sided with the South during the Civil War. All the treaties. No. Hold on a second. Name one that didn't.
Iroquois.
Were they a so-called civilized tribe?
Yes, that's where your government came from. The setup, the councils, the all these different things came from the Native Americans, especially the ones of the North.
And they fought on the Union side during the Civil War.
Yes, there's a number of different tribes that fought on the Union side, like the Menominee, which is from around Lake Michigan. They were on the North side, even though a couple decades ago they almost killed then younger President Washington. They almost drowned him.
Because I
love history.
Oh, wait. Okay, because I've heard that part of the treaty with the Indians was that they were not to help. They were not to side with the escaped slaves. They were not to assist them. As a matter of fact, they were there to capture them, and a lot of them would scalp them and torture them.
Well, there was many different treaties with many different tribal nations. There was over 500. There's over 500 tribal There used to be more, but our government exterminated them. Like the Tuckahos, they're gone. They are gone. And that was more the Jefferson family that they took that land. I know that because my family had land next to theirs. You know.
Well, I mean, we can.
I have a hard time speaking on this because I think you need to have more information. And I don't want to insult you.
And that's fine. Anyway, I have to go to the bathroom. And
okay.
Debbie's been hating on me. And Andrew,
why?
Andrew Jackson killed more Native Americans than any other. And a lot of people believe that Andrew Jackson did nothing wrong. And he was trying to preserve our country from internal threats. Anyway, anything to add before I end this show?
Well, consider going to the Women's March. Mm-hmm. I would try some different approaches so you can actually do real valid podcasting right there. I think that would be a wonderful idea. Maybe they could learn something and you could learn something. What say you?
You know what? I'm going to give that some serious thought. JP, anything to add before I end this puppy?
Yes, do valid podcasting, please.
Was this a shitty podcast? Did you find it boring?
No.
No, this is good.
All right.
End a good note.
Debbie, you need to stop hating on me. It's bullshit.
Well, you're not supposed to react. You respond. A child reacts. A adult responds. So she's throwing trash at you. If you think it's trash, then just don't react.
Let me say this. Let me say this. Debbie is throwing.
You do have balls, right?
Yes, I do have balls, and I have a brain to a degree. It may be a little bit punch drunk, but Debbie is throwing questions at me out of her vendetta. It's not out of genuine questions. It's that she has a lot of anger and hostility towards me because I took somebody's side, and I have questions about certain things myself.
Now you're getting petty.
I'm not getting petty. She has. You know what? Debbie should do a show called Debbie Vendetta Daily. Maybe I'll do one.
No.
Sure.
No, she is not like that. She may be angry at times.
She is vendetta filled. Vendetta.
You're lying through your fat mouth.
You are so angry.
Honestly, if you react instead of respond, it makes you look like a child.
Angela, seriously, Debbie's angry. Okay, that's all he's
Debbie
saying.
is.
This is not
maybe she's hurt. Maybe this is not anger. Maybe this is hurt because you guys used to be really good together. The three of you. It's true.
She has a choice. She could have brought.
I've never not called her.
A lot of shows of hers. She was angry.
She's very angry.
Year, a new page. What are you going to write on that new page?
I'm going to try to get along with everyone, but I think Debbie is very angry. I'm not angry.
Well, you just threw a rotten tomato at her. That's not nice.
I did not.
If you're going to get along with everyone, then say that.
I did not.
Don't do a but.
Okay, I did not. Okay, by the way, I did not. I'm not angry. And question mark. Where do you get angry? Because your questions, Debbie, they're hidden with anger. I can see the knife. I can visualize the knife. Like after you typed in the thing, I could see you filing your nails with like a big Bowie knife, or cleaning your gun while you're asking these questions filled with anger.
But your chat room is full of very pointed questions, and they're not all nice. So how can you just pick her out of the group of assholes that write on your chat? I probably shouldn't have said that word.
Debbie,
sorry.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, you know, and you know.
He's smiling now, Debbie.
For fuck's sake! For fuck's sakes!
Okay, and yeah.
Well, I tried to help. I give up.
By the way,
I put a lot of stuff behind me so I could move forward, And it's not that hard to do, and it's a lot easier to move forward. It really is. Don't get stuck in the present.
Who is Flo, by the way?
I don't know.
No knife. You have Nazi paranoia. Flo must be one of your minions, and it's very.
What if Flo isn't? Maybe Flo's one of Stabby's minions. Who knows?
You know what? Let me tell you something. The more you try to say you're not over me, the more you're not over me. That's just the truth.
Well, you're having a strong reaction yourself, so I think you're not over her.
She is very, very, very hurt. But she shouldn't lash out.
Look who's talking. You're hurt as well.
Anyway.
Why don't you guys get over your hurts and just move forward? Put all those nasty things that you think happened or did happen in the past where they belong.
Debbie needs to grow up a little bit. That's all I have to say. Anything else?
Up? That's very dehumanizing to say that. She's a grown woman. She's raised children.
She needs to grow up.
Children.
Calm down, girl. Calm down.
She needs to grow up.
I can't.
Both sides need a spanking. Shut up.
Listen.
Well, I'm just trying to get some peace here, and he's not working with it.
I'm trying to get peace, too. But she's like Muammar Gaddafi or Yasser Arafating it.
Okay, what do you think of this comment, Bata Girl? I think you and Liz are perfect for each other.
That's a hurtful statement. That's coming from her.
What do you expect? What do you want us to be like?
She thinks that he picked Liz over her, and that hurt her. That I'm paraphrasing what I'm hearing, and I may be wrong in her intent.
All he did was talk to her, and was.
Oh, he did more than talk with her.
He's friendly with.
Did you see that back? The piggyback ride.
He was.
Come on.
I was friendly with her, and she wouldn't have that.
How friendly were you?
For Liz, very friendly. What do you care?
It's piggyback ride. It was a. Dude,
I'm just trying to find out how.
Debbie. If you ever want a piggyback ride, you just let me know, and I'll give you a piggyback ride. Okay.
See, Debbie?
You're hurt. You are hurt. You are hurt. You are hurt. You wanted a piggyback ride too. And Debbie, if you want one, I'll give you a piggyback ride. All right? If you want a piggyback ride, I might even change the name of the show.
See, that's a peace offering. It's a peace offering.
Yeah. Debbie, I'll give you...
And you don't hate her. Do you hate her?
I don't hate anybody online.
Well, good, because she probably wanted to hear that.
Yeah, but...
Listen, Mr. Midnight Movie and I hung out today. We talk about people in the most fond way. It's a laughing situation no matter what. So, you know what? We love all the people that are hanging out in the chat room. We love that people are listening to us when they listen to us. It's awesome. We love it.
It's a community. You guys have a community. It's pretty cool.
It's a small but fun community. I love it, and we're going to keep going at it. If people want to bring their hatred in here, go ahead and lay it out there. But we're trying not to respond with hatred back.
Yeah, and you know what, Debbie? That is true. I did call your show, and I did enjoy being on there. I mean, I did. And,
See?
You know, but you know, like I said, geez, I mean, it's like, doesn't mean that I have to agree with everything else that you do and every way that you behave. You know? I mean, some of the things you did, not too cool. You two shits are the person who made... You two shits on the person who made you what you are today. You know what? I mean, look, you know what?
Oh, you made yourselves.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. I did grow with Debbie. But I outgrew you. No, I'm kidding. If not for me, you would not be where you are today, period. And you know what? I mean, I got to be honest that I did grow with Debbie. I mean, I was, you know, able to hone my skills and my talents, whatever they are, but with Debbie. But the fact of the matter is that I don't like. There are certain things that you did that I don't agree with. And it wasn't, that I thought Liz was better looking or anything like that. You did things that I don't agree with. And, I don't want to talk about it on the air. This is, there's no winning here. There's no winning.
That one party went really far. You got to admit, the calendar, all that other crap. That's crazy.
Come on, bathtub girl. I made you what you are. Are you kidding me? What?
I introduced you to Debbie. Remember?
You did.
I told you about this podcast. Yada yada yada. I told Debbie these guys are great with movies. The Mr. Midnight movie was an encyclopedia of movie information, trivia.
Wait a minute.
No, I'm just saying. I said those things about you.
I'm sorry. I'm reading the chat. You can't win with me.
Oh.
You're a liar. Debbie, this is nonsense. What you're saying is nonsense. Just get off it. Jeez, you just, all right. You know what, folks?
She needs a hug from you. That's what she needs.
She does not want a hug from me.
Listen, Debbie tells
Yes, she does.
How do you know?
She tells more lies than you tell, bathtub girl.
Well, I've known Debbie longer than you guys have. I have. So I can kind of interpret the tone of her questions or comments.
You're not. You are not doing a good job at interpreting tonight because they're all laced with anger. She's angry.
She just said I would run from him.
She's not angry. She's hurt.
You know what? She's angry. No, she's angry. This is anger. Okay.
This is all anger.
You know,
okay.
You can interpret it all you want. She is angry.
She's angry that we don't even go to her show and do it in her chat room. We don't spread anger.
Or you don't have time to go to her chat room that much.
She's filled with a lot of hate.
Maybe now and then you could visit.
What are you talking about?
But you guys got to start watching movies again. I mean, you guys haven't gone to the movies in what seems like ages. I mean, I see more movies in 1 month than you guys have in the entire year. And the Oscars are coming up.
Well, do you have a job?
Well, in a way, I do. Yes.
Right. That takes up a lot of our day.
Well, no, I'm an activist. I go to lots of different events. I sometimes get some money, but not always.
Debbie,
still working.
Why?
Okay.
See, this is vindictive hate. She just dropped a name, and I don't want to get into the whole detail, but you know what? You seem guilty.
Mention other people's name, but all I'm trying to say, Mr. Midnight Movie, all I'm trying to say is whatever has happened in the past, leave it there and move forward.
No, okay. Let me just say what she's doing right now. She's doing it out of vindictive behavior.
I think she's hurt.
You know what? She's angry.
I'm not seeing what she's typed. What was the last sentence she typed?
You know what? She's putting names out in the chat room. She knows.
She's playing this little game. She's playing a baby's game, bathtub girl. I mean, come on. Do we do that? No.
You need to grow up.
I have to remind you guys, her birthday is coming up. I don't know what you know about
How old is she going to be now? Give us that age.
30, 40, 50, 60. It's not an easy thing. And why don't you guys offer to do a happy birthday night when she has her birthday or before or after? Why don't you do the thing? The kindness army.
Jesus Christ.
Women are women, you know?
Let's see what this YouTube channel is.
JP, you could get out your guitar and sing happy birthday to her.
Listen.
Just a little kindness will go so far.
Liz, you are still a provocateur. I mean, this is kind of...
Whatever, she's nothing.
She doesn't provoke. She doesn't. She's most of the time she's defending herself. At this point,
I don't think you see things for how they are, but that's just my opinion. But as far as Debbie goes, Liz should not be a factor.
Well,
it is strange that Debbie doesn't act like an adult anymore. She's and I don't care. I like that.
Hurt.
I don't mean act old or whatever, but and it's fine to act youthful and exuberant and funny and silly and stupid, but that's menacing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, she was set up by someone by an email that she didn't even send, that didn't even happen. I don't even think that email happened. And from that moment on, it went downhill. And you guys never talked that much afterwards.
Why don't you think it happened?
Well, because it's an email pack, and she really hasn't produced any proof. And when the one angry Jew wanted to talk to the police because his name's mentioned, she wouldn't allow him to know who to talk to. Like all of a sudden she clammed up, and that was like a big red flag to me.
That's not exactly how things went down. And
well, I read it in the chat. I saw it myself.
The finger was,
and a conversation that he had with her that was live on Spreaker.
He's a nudnik.
But I don't even think it happened. I really don't. Because the police would have been at Debbie, at her house.
Not necessarily, no.
The terroristic threat, all that, yeah, they would have. They would at least made a phone call to her.
Listen.
So that's where my grounds that it didn't happen.
Online.
And I think she's been unfairly demonized.
I don't think you realize the scope of at which this online stuff is happening. It's beyond control of the police. It's out. It's so pandemic. It's on the individual.
Like I haven't been attacked.
An individual. Look, it's on the individual to make good choices, in my opinion. Nobody's going to help in those cases. Nobody. There's no time.
But supposedly she had all this evidence. I just don't think it happened at all. I don't. And then asking me to make reports and this and that.
Right.
I speak the truth. That's good enough for me.
I'm not going to. I don't want to go in circles over that. There's no.
Well, all I'm saying is that move forward. Put all that stuff in the back, in the past where it belongs, and move forward. You guys used to have a decent relationship with this podcaster.
You know what? I'm going to tell you this.
She's turning 60 soon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. 60? Well, her birthday's coming up. Damn it, I want to get in trouble.
Years old. I didn't know that.
And she looks great for any age. She looks great. But honestly, this makes me sad when I see things like this.
Well, I'll tell you something. I stood by Debbie even when I had to change my number because the 4chan army, and I stood by her. And I went to bat, and I stuck up for her. So I did a lot,
4chan's nothing.
Well, whatever, dude.
Did they come after you?
You know what?
I just didn't know. That's all.
I had Rocknet come after me because I stood by Debbie, dude, and dude, I stuck up for her. I thought what was happening to her was wrong, and. But in this case, okay. You know what? And one of the people who causes the drama is you. Anyway, yes, Rocknet. All right. Anything else to say?
I remember them.
Yeah.
They were at least funny.
Yeah, you brought them on. And by the way, you brought them on because of Debbie.
I did not bring them on, but it was funny when they tried to take over
you fucking liar. You brought Rocknet on and sabotaged my show.
But I had no power with those people. Are you nuts?
Why did you bring them on my show, though?
I didn't. It was probably Bill Wagner.
That was you. You told me. All right, never mind. Anyway.
She's got her own claims. That's okay. We remember. We have it on audio somewhere.
Well, yeah, but you lost all your audio, didn't you?
Well,
you guys didn't back it up, and I told you to, but you didn't listen to me because I knew she would try to get you 404.
Who did?
I don't know. She did.
Yeah, we have some,
Well, that's good.
and that's good.
I used to have some, but then everything was erased off the talk shoe.
Oh, just like when NASA erased all their trips to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, they got new owners on talk shoe.
Yeah, let's.
So that's what happened. They erased everybody's
regular NASA.
Let's end this puppy and
we have a couple episodes.
Okay, and I wish you guys well. I just wish things were different, and it just makes me sad. I mean,
Debbie,
you guys could just put things in the bag, and she could too. You guys could move on.
Debbie, you have a lot of vendetta.
Look at who this conversation that's going on in the chat room. Look at all the freaks that come out of the woodwork.
Oh, they sure do.
What's going on?
Where were you guys an hour ago?
Debbie, I want to say that you're filled with hate, and yes, you're filled with a lot of hate and a lot of
and
anger.
that's kind of a low blow.
I'm just saying that I feel she is.
I think she's hurt. That's what I think.
I think she's filled with a lot of hate.
And she probably doesn't like it that I'm saying that either.
Well, I mean, look, you can tell that she's making, anyway. All right, guys, thank you for listening, including you, Debbie.
I enjoyed it.
This is the best show on Blog Talk and the best show on the internet. Shut up. Nobody, and I mean nobody, tackles issues like inflammatory.